most amazing artists. I hope you are having an awesome day today. And welcome to a brand new project. This project is inspired by the book Perfect Square by Michael Hall. At the beginning of this book, it's focusing on a perfect square, a shape that has 4 equal sides and 4 perfect corners. And then throughout the book, the square is torn and ripped and cut with scissors and glued down to make something new. So we are going to do something very similar today with our square. You're going to get a square color piece of paper and you're going to get a white piece of paper. We're not going to cut and tear and rip our white piece of paper because this is going to be the base of our collage. This is going to be what we glue our square to, okay? Everyone's going to start out with a perfect square, and then we're going to try to see different ways that we can cut or rip or crinkle this square and to turn it into something new. So I have my paper ready to go. I have a glue stick because that's how I'm going to glue my stuff down with. I have some scissors and I have a hole puncher. And hole punchers can be a little bit tricky to use at first, but I think it's a good idea to practice it a little bit today just to strengthen those hand muscles. To hole punch, you just put paper right into this hole punch. There's a little opening right here. You put your square into the hole punch and then you use those muscles. You can use just one hand, but if that's too hard, maybe you want to use 2 hands to squeeze and punch that hole out. And then you have a hole, which is a perfect circle, and then you have a little circle that you can use in your design. So I am going to start cutting my perfect square, and look, it's not perfect anymore, and that's okay because I am turning this perfect square into something new. And you can cut pieces out, you can rip your square up if you want to, rip some different pieces out. Maybe if you have a piece you want to give it some cool wrinkled texture, so you squish it up in a ball and then you open it up and it has a really fun kind of a bumpy texture on it. It's a lot different than just regular paper, which is smooth and flat. Maybe you want to crinkle your paper a little bit. Maybe you want to punch some holes out and practice using a hole puncher. And remember to use the hole puncher. There's a little opening right on the side, and just slip your paper right in there and then punch or squeeze. And you get some circles here, and you have a really fun shape that has some dots in it. So I am going to start ripping this paper up. Now we don't want to rip it into a bunch of teeny tiny pieces because that is going to take a little while to glue down. So don't do any super small pieces. The only super duper tiny pieces you should have are your little circles from where you have been hole punching, okay? Everything else should be relatively medium size, about the size of your hand. And I'm gonna start seeing what I can turn this into. I'm gonna start playing around with my shapes and my papers to see what can I turn this perfect square into. In the book, the square turned into a river, it turned into a mountain at one point. It even turned into a fountain with water coming out of it. There are so many different ideas that you could turn your square into. And while you're using your scissors, you don't have to do just straight line cuts. You could do a wavy line if you wanted to. Try to cut a wavy line and practice those cutting skills. That is totally up to you and how you want to use your time today. Whatever you're doing, you should be thinking of, how can I turn these pieces into something new? So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. Whenever I'm happy with my design here, I am going to glue it down to my white piece of paper. Are you going to cut the white piece of paper? No. Are you going to hole punch the white piece of paper? No, we don't want to hurt the white piece of paper because we need it to glue all these other beautiful pieces to. So just rip up and tear and cut and hole punch and crinkle your colored square, but please do not do that to your white square. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this part up because I think you guys are catching on. I am going to do some things to this square. Well, actually, it's not really a square anymore, is it? But I am going to start putting these pieces together to create something new. And when I'm happy with it, I will glue it down to my white piece of paper. And then I'll be right back to show you what it looks like. I just finished ripping and cutting and crumpling my square, and I have created an ocean scene. Whenever I was crinkling my paper, I thought it kind of looked like waves in an ocean, and I cut out a few shapes that kind of looked like boats, and I decided to use my little circles to represent people inside of the boats. And up here are some clouds and maybe a sun or something, because this is supposed to be the sky up here. The challenging part of this is that you have to use your entire square. So I don't have any of my colored pieces left over. You have to use the entire square on your paper. Figure out a way that you can use it. You should do something different than what Miss M did though. So use your imagination and your creativity to come up with an idea on how you can change your perfect square. I hope you guys have a lot of fun creating your collage today. I can't wait to see your ideas and how yours turns out. I know it's going to be amazing because you guys are amazing. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.